Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Welcome back. Glad you're here. So I have this trip coming up, huge trip. The first time I'm going overseas, I'm actually going to London in the near future. And so I've been watching a lot of videos about it, you know, what to go see, what to avoid, what to do, what not to do, just kind of getting a little bit prepared for it. And I ran across this video that I had to check out, I had to react to. And it's basically called Top 10 Things in British Culture Impossible to Explain to Non-Brits. I'm a non-Brit, so this is right up my alley. Let's check it out.
I love to laugh.
Toast, I've been meaning to talk to you.
You're talking to me now?
Yes. It's about the sense of humor issue.
Okay, I know him. That's Matt Berry. I know him from the IT crowd. I've never seen Toast of the Town. I've always wanted to, just haven't gotten around to it. But he was in IT crowd after season 2, and just flat out hilarious. That show, if you've never seen it, if you like good British comedy, that one's excellent. Chris Dowd came out of there. Richard Ayoade, who's probably one of the best, just hysterical guy. I wouldn't necessarily call him a comedian, but just flat out hysterical. I love him. So, yeah.
I have a terrific sense of humor. It's just very dry.
Welcome to Watch Mojo UK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things in British culture impossible to explain to non-Brits.
It's not quite nasal enough the way you're doing it, all right? You're not doing it the way he speaks.
I've seen that,
You're
yeah.
not doing it with the kind of...
I've actually seen that movie. I watched it like last year, I think. I think it's got like two or three parts. That's where he's impersonating Michael Caine. He sounds just like Michael Caine.
And you don't do the broken voice when he gets very emotional.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
For this list, we'll be looking at a few causes of cultural confusion that are unique to the small island we call home. What do you find weird about the UK? Let us know in the comments. Number 10. Marmite.
Oh, listen. Okay, yeah, it is weird. What do I find weird about the UK? Their fascination with fish and chips. It just seems like fish and chips is everywhere over there, and I don't get that at all. So, yeah, that's probably the thing that came to my head first. What about you? You think of the UK, what's the weirdest thing you think of? Drop me a comment below, let me know. That's disgusting.
A dark brown savoury spread invented in the late 19th century and made from yeast extract sludge left over from brewing beer.
Whoa. Yeast extract sludge left over from brewing beer. You ever have one of the you ever hear about something and you're like, who's the person that figured out that was edible? Because not only did they have to try it, they had to like it and then tell their friends about it and then bottle it and sell it.
Sounds yummy. Well, actually, it doesn't. But Marmite fans know the very real joy it can bring when spread thinly on hot buttered toast, with a fresh brewed cup of tea to balance out the salty flavour.
Doesn't take long before new recruit Callum Howe finds another jar in a shocking state.
Oh no.
What's the matter?
It's a baby one.
Okay, don't panic.
It's not been used in months.
Not all Brits feel the same though, and Marmite is famously marketed as a polarising food that you either love or hate. The proper stuff is only manufactured in the UK in the Burton-on-Trent Marmite factory.
I'm actually wondering if I should try that while I'm over there. Do they have that in restaurants over there? I don't know if I want to pay for it though. I'm kind of intrigued. That scares me.
It's been there since 1902 and produces roughly 50 million jars in a year. And no, Australia, Vegemite is not as good. Number 9. Public schools are private schools.
Settle down.
You'll often hear it said that our country is run by public school boys. However, This doesn't mean what it might in other parts of the world. It doesn't imply that these politicians went to state-funded institutions and pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. It suggests that they were born into extreme privilege and attended some of the most prestigious fee-paying schools in the world. In the UK, we refer to schools for the general public as state schools, and private schools for the wealthy as public schools or independent schools. Except, not all private schools are called public schools. Some do actually call themselves private schools, and most call themselves charities too. Registered charities.
Oh. So public schools are state schools, but private schools are public or charities. There's something else in there. Independence. That's completely backwards from the US, mate.
Confused yet?
Yes.
No more than you should be. Number 8.
How do they get called? Why do you get called charities? Why would you call a school a charity?
Insults are our love language. Terms of affection and endearment are different the world over. In the UK, you know that someone feels comfortable around you if they insult you to your face. Or they might just be rude.
They're not jokes as such, they're just little things to say. Yeah, it's probably fine in the hands of taxi drivers, or cockneys, or even Geordies.
When you've lived here long enough, you'll learn to tell the difference. Sarcasm may be the lowest form of wit, but it's also a great tool for masking social awkwardness. It stops conversations becoming too serious, and fends off the Brits' greatest fear, earnestness. We spend so much time being generally polite, no one wants to put that wall up around their own friends and family.
You know what you are? You're a big bag of shit!
It doesn't mean we love each other any less, but where's the fun in life without some friendly teasing? Deadpan delivery required, of course. Number 7. Town names and their pronunciation. British place names are famously difficult for tourists to get their head around. Even native-born Brits will get tripped up at some point. The English language has a checkered history. You can blame most of the confusion on the Romans, Anglo-Saxons, and the Vikings. Also the French and the Celts. Being able
so
to
they blame everybody but themselves.
Village, has even become something of a party piece.
Up the road from Llanfairpwllgwyngyll go get a Quindrobwll, Llantysilio go. The temperature got to 21 Celsius.
When you take pronunciation out of the equation, however, there are still a lot of place names that sound like somebody might be having you on. From Fatty Head to Scratchy
Pity
Bottom,
me.
there are oddly named towns in every corner of the British Isles.
Queen Camel.
Number 6. The variety of accents.
When it gets loudly, it gets very loud indeed. It gets very specific. It's not quite nasal enough the way you're doing it, all right? You're not doing it the way he speaks.
Every country has its own differences in...
He sounded just like him, man.
dialect and accent, even if it's difficult for an outsider to hear the nuance. But for such a small place, the UK does seem to have a disproportionate amount of variety. For a long time, a British accent was generally thought of as standard received pronunciation, but with the world opening up, regional accents are gradually becoming more familiar to foreign ears.
What I'm saying is that, like, if they had themselves proper jobs, you know, for a gun till, then they wouldn't do it. A lot of them's from broken homes.
Sorry, that was just a noise.
Oh, man. I really want to go to Scotland one day. I want to go to Scotland one day because I have like a lot of Scottish heritage. But I hear some of those Scots talking sometime and I'm like, there's no way I'm ever going to understand what they're saying. Like, there's just no way. Like, I have a hard time if you get into like deep Kentucky. You ever been there? Like, or you get into like deep Mississippi, even some spots in Texas. Like you come up in some of those places and like you can't understand them. I've run into people who I'm just like, I know you're speaking English, but I have no idea what you're saying. And we're a big country, you know. The United States is massive, and you go from Florida to Washington State, like you're gonna see a lot and hear a lot. But to have that kind of like compressed into like the UK, just baffles me. That's crazy.
A Glasgow accent is very different from a Newcastle accent, which is different from a Birmingham accent.
You're a good man. And a good soldier.
Great
People
show.
in the countryside don't sound the same as those in the town. Some people in Wales and Scotland even speak a whole different language. And nobody speaks like Dick Van Dyke, bless him.
All right, I'll do it myself.
Number 5. Hot and cold taps. There are a few questions that non-natives tend to have about British bathrooms. The no-plugs thing is clearly a health and safety issue. The carpets are...
You don't have plugs in your sinks? Like, how? Why not? So you have hot and cold separate faucets in every sink. Man. The plumbing trade must be awesome over there. Why would you not?
About keeping warm, but separate taps for hot and cold, they're a bit more difficult to justify. We do have our reasons, they're just not really relevant anymore. Historically, cold water came from the mains and was safe to drink.
I'm quite all right, Barbara. I ran it under a cold tap.
Hot water was a later addition to UK households. When it did arrive, it was usually heated in a tank in the loft, therefore it wasn't as fresh. Modern bathrooms do sometimes have mixer taps, they've just not really caught on yet.
They actually have a name for it, mixer taps. Instead of just the spout or the spigot or the faucet. It's a mixer tap. That's crazy.
Number 4. The tea obsession.
Yeah, I don't get this at all.
No, Britain is not the only country to enjoy a nice cup of tea.
Do you know, I can't remember the last time I had a good cup of chai.
But we are quite singular in the way we take it. It's possibly only the Irish who also understand this one. For the real tea drinker, you must understand this is not just a casual beverage. It is usually an addiction, begun in late childhood. A cup of tea can be a consolation, an offer of friendship, or a gauge of how long a visitor is going to stay. When a British person says tea, they do not mean chamomile or green or iced, they mean English breakfast. Usually with milk and often with sugar. And please, don't leave the tea bag in the cup.
Tea Earl Grey hot.
Number 3. Metric or imperial. The UK officially adopted the metric system in 1965. That's over 50 years ago. It's what they use in Europe. It's what we learn in school. It's a much simpler way of working things out, as you're working with units of 10, not 12. So why do we still weigh ourselves in pounds and stone? Measure our height in feet and inches?
Yeah, stone I don't get. I never. If a guy weighs, I think if a guy weighs 12 stone, he's like really huge. But I never got that. I can't remember what the. I can't remember what the stone is equal to. I think it's equal to like 40 pounds or something like that. So yeah, I never got the stone one. But it's weird. I guess it's interesting that they use both. I didn't know that they used both. I thought they were strictly metric.
Travel in miles. Buy beer and milk in pints. The older generation will occasionally still tell you the temperature in Fahrenheit. Shouldn't we have acclimatized by now? No one under the age of 70 grew up under the imperial system. Good luck explaining this to anyone outside Britain, because it makes no sense at all. Number 2. Baked beans for breakfast. British food has never...
So that's an English breakfast. I've heard about this. I've actually seen this because I'm researching restaurants. Because I'm a foodie. These guys have a massive breakfast. Like, I'm a big guy. But even I don't eat breakfast this big. It's just, like, an omelet is good for me. But these guys have, like, hot dogs and bacon and beans and eggs and toast. And I've seen some go crazier than that. Like, that actually looks like a pretty tame one. But, yeah, that's a huge breakfast.
Had a great...
Don't get me wrong. I'll eat every bit of that bacon.
reputation with the rest of the world. We traditionally choose hearty, comforting food, and that's okay. We need it in our climate. However, if there's one British dish that visitors really can't fathom, it's the humble beans on toast. Baked beans are a staple for the average Brit, usually eaten as part of a fried breakfast or as a quick snacky tea. Sometimes they're just what you need. They are eaten elsewhere in the world, but you'd be more likely to find them at a barbecue than on a breakfast table. No one else has taken this simple convenience food to their hearts quite like us. Number 1. What is the country actually called? The United Kingdom, Great Britain, the British Isles. So which is it? Well, the British Isles is a geographical term. It describes a group of islands including Great Britain, the island of Ireland, the Isle of Man, the Scottish Isles, and the Scilly Isles. Great Britain is the biggest island in the group and is made up of England, Scotland, and Wales. The United Kingdom is a political union. Full name, the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. It includes England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. The red, white, and blue flag is the Union flag, or Union Jack, and is composed of flags from England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, but not Wales. Got it?
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other...
Okay. That's going to be a fun trip. I'm looking forward to that. What'd you think? Any of that make any sense to you? Like, even, yeah, they're right. Even if you explain it, it's just like, okay, so why don't you just update? Like, why are you... I don't get it. It's always funny. I always enjoy watching BBC, especially, you know, some of the comedies and stuff. And some of those houses are just like, why don't you update your house? Like, all of your houses look like they were built in the 50s or 40s. Like, nothing looks modern. I don't know. At the same time, the history over there is just phenomenal. I mean, it can't be beat. So, I'm looking forward to the trip. What'd you think? What was your favorite part? What did you find weird or perplexing? Is there anything else you know of? If you're from the UK and you got something to add to this, I'd love to hear it. So, thanks for coming. Appreciate you being here. Hope you guys stop in next time. Love you. Y'all have a good one. Bye.